All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is the Rosa's Report, and this is episode 4. I'm your host, Ray Rosas, local independent professional wrestler based out of Southern California, broadcasting here in beautiful Los Angeles. How's everybody doing today? It's Wednesday. You know what that means? New Rosa's Report. And again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in every week to the Rosa's Report and giving me some great feedback, giving me some great ideas, and helping to talk about the scene, which is Southern California Pro Wrestling. I want to thank all you guys for sharing the podcast on Facebook and Twitter, and even going out of your way to put it up on YouTube. I'm pretty sure one of these days I'm going to start sharing my own podcast onto YouTube, onto my own channel, to help spread the word and help get it out there a little to a broader audience. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, feel free to tweet at me at Ray Rosas and use the hashtag Rosas Report. Or now it's the hashtag Rosas Report will be the new official hashtag for this podcast. So we're getting rid of the and the THRR or whatever else we used. So now the new official hashtag for the Rosas Report is just hashtag Rosas Report. If you want to email me, it is rayrosas at writeme.com. That is rayrosas at WRITEME.com. So if you want to send any questions, some fan mail, I'll read it on the air. If you want to send results for shows, or any sort of storylines based around the shows or events, shoot them there. So that way I could get information readily out to the people. Like let's take last weekend, for example. We had a lot of shows going on. I tried looking for some results. I think I only found very, very limited. So let's report on what happened last week. AOW had a live show over in 29 Palms, way out there in the desert, where we had 2 Beat the Clock challenge matches. Ron Kilborn defeated Drake Fortune in 12 minutes and 23 seconds. But unfortunately for him, the AOW heavyweight champion, the one, Blake Grayson, defeated high-flying sensation Steven Andros in 11:43 seconds to win the Beat the Clock challenge. So now, what he announced for the main event for Unleashed 5 will be a last man standing between the two men. So that'll be a slobber knocker. Also on the show, we had Ryan G. Morales defend his Desert Championship against Scorpio Sky, and the emo behemoth Pinky made his return, defeating Roman Alexander, Ashley Grace, and the redheaded stepchild Buford Tucker. So AOW's next event will be coming up in Victorville on January 31st with their major headlining event, Unleashed 5. And that's pretty much it. I couldn't find any other results for any other shows. I want to say Mikey O'Shea defended his OCCW championship against Gino Rivera in Los Alamitos. But besides that, a lot of results are very few and far between. So make sure to if you're fans going out there in the local area and you wanted to send results in to SoCalUncensored.com, or even, like I said, email them to me, I can get them out to the rest of the people, and we can help the scene, all of SoCal. In other news, not just SoCal, but now going to NorCal, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood announced that they'll start broadcasting episodes in San Francisco. So that's good for everybody, because now we'll be exposing some SoCal guys down there, up there in NorCal, and vice versa. A lot of NorCal guys, I'm sure, will be coming down here, and it also opens the doors for running live events up in Northern California. So good for Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I'm excited for them and their new outlet that they have up there. Speaking of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, last week I talked about the SoCal Uncensored year-end awards and a lot of other things, and who I was leaning towards. One person I forgot to mention, and actually one person who I officially like to nominate, was somebody that I don't know how I left him off, because for a while they were having some of the best matches on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and that was Kevin Martinson. The wrestler previously known as Johnny Goodtime, and over the past couple months, over at Championship Wrestling Hollywood, he was the television champion, and ordered to defend it every week against a different challenger. Now when you're defending it every week on the program, you're actually defending it twice, so 2 times in one day. That's 2, because the tapings usually run about two episodes a taping. So Kevin was defending the title twice a day, and having absolutely phenomenal matches. He was right now he's in his prime. I say, he's all jacked. He's got that manly beard. I got a little beard envy. I'm not going to lie. And right now, what we just the current moniker for him right now is BHK, Big Hunky Kev, and he and he lives up to the name. He's a man among boys out here in Southern California, a true man. If there ever was a manlier man than Kevin Martinson, I've yet to meet him. But he was TV champ for about 126 days, and he was working with a lot of lower card guys, younger guys, and pulling out these amazing matches with them. So if I was going to nominate a most outstanding wrestler, it would be Kevin Martinson. I hope that I was able to get in my nomination before the polling had closed, but hopefully you guys feel the same way. And if you've seen a couple of his matches on Championship Wrestling Hollywood, you would agree with me that they were definitely the highlight at some points of the whole program. So let's talk about what's going to go on this weekend. Big weekend for me because I'm going to have my first match of 2016 this weekend on this Saturday the 23rd. I'll be wrestling over at UEW F the World 2. I guess I don't know if I want to censor myself or not, but essentially the show is F the World 2. It's going to be over at the UEW Auditorium in East Los Angeles. And my match for that day is going to be against the current UEW Internet Television Champion, which is Human Tornado. That name may ring a bell for a lot of you people. For just in case you may not have heard of Human Tornado, he debuted back in 2003. He was trained by American Wild Child. He was a former Pro Wrestling Guerrilla champion, a former AWS champion. He competed in Ring of Honor, Combat Zone Wrestling, and Wrestling Society X. For a lot of other people, may have seen him as El Snowflake in the movie Nacho Libre. But out here in SoCal, he's what we call one of the top guys, almost a living legend because he's been doing this for so long. Mainly these days, he just works with the younger talent and working with the guys, helping them learn. This weekend, we're clashing for the championship, and this is actually a first-time ever matchup. I've never wrestled the Human Tornado one-on-one, so I'm actually looking forward to this because though it may not be though it may be our first one-on-one match, it's not our first time in the ring together. Recently, we've teamed in the AWS 5-on-5 men versus women's matches, but Tornado was actually one of my very first matches. He was actually involved in my third and sixth match ever in my young career. It all started back in 2009, where we were contracted to put on a side attraction over at the Electric Daisy Carnival at the LA Memorial Coliseum. And in my third match ever, I was teaming with him and Supreme. And I was just in there to pretty much just take the bumps and get beat up by the opposite team. And I can't really remember so much about that match as kind of just the whole weekend was a blur. I'm not sure if anybody knows what the Electric Daisy Carnival is, but it's just a giant rave. And we were, like I said, we were performers that day. We were kind of off on the side with this little ring right next to the bathroom. So a lot of people that were walking by, that would pass by, would casually just stop and check it out. But there was little to no lighting. It was like one of the funnest weekends I've had up at that point in wrestling. Like I said, it was only like my third match. And it would take us about half an hour to walk from the ring back to our dressing room. Not only because it was so far, but we had to walk through this actual sea of humanity of this giant rave. And at one point we got to the top of the Coliseum and looked down, and we just saw like a massive wave, this sea of just human life and existence, and it was just swaying from one way to the other, matching the beat of the music. It was the craziest thing I'd seen, and I was sober. So imagine anybody else that may have been on some sort of recreational drug. So, but like I said, I teamed with Human Tornado in my third match ever, and then we had a few matches that night, and then I ended up wrestling against him in my sixth match ever. And like I said, I don't really remember the details of the match or how much interaction we had. But that was it. That was back in 2009. So fast forward to today, and now it's going to be Ray Rosas versus Human Tornado one-on-one for the Internet Television Championship. And I'm, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. Nothing gets me more excited about a match than a first-time matchup. and it opens up a lot of doors for new challenges. So, and knowing Tornado and knowing his style, I'm really excited about how we're going to mesh together and just put on an entertaining match for the fans. Because I've always been a big fan of the Human Tornado. I watched him back in 2006 on WSX, and watching some of the stuff they were doing there. And it's crazy because if we want to, I was going to save this for next week, but talking about WSX. WSX was actually my first introduction into independent wrestling. So, back then, all I knew was just WWE and WCW, and like I said, I hardly even knew about what ECW was. So I was just a WWF guy. So I remember when MTV announced a new wrestling promotion, I was really excited. But again, like I said, I was gonna talk more about WSX and how it got me into indie wrestling. I'll say that for the next episode, because I could definitely go on and on about that for a long time. So if you're in the East LA area, just come by and check out UEW, F the World 2. The address is 926 Clela Avenue, from like I said, in East LA, from 7 to 10. Also, on the card will be Carnage versus BC Killer in the death match, and Daniel Torch versus Mike Rain for the Eastern Pacific Championship, and a bunch of other matches there. You're not gonna not have a good time. So stop by, check it out if you're in the area. Also, we have a few other shows on Saturday. So if you can't make it out there and you want to check it out, check out other shows. Here's some options for you. Also on Saturday the 23rd, we have Grindhouse Entertainment having their robot show. It's going to have music, go-go dancers, along with the pro wrestling. It's going to be at Clash City Station, 3175 Cluck. That's all it says, Cluck, in Riverside, from 6:30 to 9:30 for $15 per person. In the main event, they're going to have the King of the Grind Championship, Richie Slade defending against Eli Everfly and Jacob the Riot Diaz. Also on the show, there's going to be a Lego death match with Tab Jackson taking on Ashley Grace. Also on Saturday, we have XWW Pro Wrestling returning with their Forever Ultraviolet 3. It's going to be at the VFW post number 10040, 8548 Lancashire Boulevard in Sun Valley, California. Doors open at 7. $10 for adults, $5 for kids. And the main event is a barefoot pit of ultraviolet death match between the Hardcore Enforcer, Mr. California, and the Freak Show. The semi-main event will be a Thumbtack Mayhem death match with Hell Kid, the Sheik, and Pogo the Clown. Not sure which Sheik that is. I don't know. There's a bunch. But the reason why I'm letting everybody know is because Pogo the Clown's going to be down here. It's not very often you see Pogo come on down from NorCal to compete, let alone in a death match. So if that's your particular cup of tea, go ahead and check that show out. If you're in the IE area, go ahead and check out the Grindhouse Robot Show. So plenty of options to choose from for wrestling. On Sunday, Championship Wrestling for Hollywood is going to have their free taping at the Port Hueneme Ocean View Pavilion. I'm sorry, and that's going to be 575 East Surfside Drive in Port Hueneme, California, 93041. And I said it's at 2:30. It's free taping. You're going to see all your favorite Championship Wrestling Hollywood wrestlers. Of course, the Hollywood Heritage Champion Peter Avalon, the TV Champion main event James Morgan, and then the Tag Team Champions Cold World. So if you want to see some good, free family-friendly pro wrestling, go ahead and check out Championship Wrestling Hollywood on Sunday. And that's pretty much all I could find that's going on this weekend. Like I said, you can always go to www.socalincensored.com to get more information about indie wrestling in Southern California, all events that are coming up this weekend, coming up later this month. I try to go week by week and give you a fresh look at what's coming up in the events this coming weekend. I guess from now on, normally the ending time of the closing part of this podcast, I guess is what I want to say, will be left for fan mail. Like I said, you can always write to me, rayrosas at writeme.com, or tweet at me with the hashtag #RosasReport. Nothing's come in so far, so my inbox is looking a little lonely, but I did get a tweet from at BadDudeTito, and he asked me to discuss a video that was circulating for a little bit. I got a chance to look at it once or twice about a wrestler hitting a fan in the back with a chair while standing in line for another show. He wanted my thoughts on it, because he feels that it was killing the business. I guess a lot of people feel the same way. And it's the thing about wrestling and the internet is that social media is just making wrestlers really accessible to fans, and the information. I mean, the information moves at such an alarming rate, or rumors, because what they say, it's the telephone, telegram, tele-wrestler, and those would be the fastest way, but you'd find something out. But with the social media, they could be something that it could be a useful tool, or it could be your downfall, because a lot of people will commit what was been coined as social media suicide. I've always been one to not post a lot of stuff that goes on. Very rarely I post or comment on Facebook or Twitter. So we got to be careful what we post or what gets posted about us, because sometimes they will come back to bite us. So just, like I said, I don't hardly ever post stuff, these podcasts, and like more lately I've been more active on my social media accounts, mainly because of the podcast. But I feel that there's always got to be a solid line between the fans and the wrestlers. Again, some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, but tweet at me, tell me at Ray Rosas, hashtag Rosa Support, or you can write me at rayrosas@writeme.com. So that about wraps it up. I think that was enough time filler to get. I like to keep my podcast short, but I don't want to keep it that short. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope to see you guys next week for episode 5. Pretty soon we're gonna start working on some guests. So I want you guys to have a great week. Hope to see you guys on Saturday. This is Ray Rosas, and I'm just letting you know that Rocky 1 was definitely the best Rocky of all time. See you later.
I got to make it right for everyone concerned. Even if it's me, if it means just me, what's getting burned? 'Cause I could never